Lee Srinivasan, so good to see you. I know you've got a couple questions that you wanted to ask me. Let's roll in.
Sure. So, Jason, as we said, I've known you for many years and you're one of the most dynamic people I know. I thought it might be helpful for you to actually define what it is that you do.
Well, thank you for the compliment. I think simply I lead cross-functional teams through transformational change, especially related to the adoption of new technology. That's it.
You make it sound so simple, but that's really hard for organizations. What core skills do you think it takes to do this sort of work?
I think it helps that I've actually done this before. When we met, I was consulting on using social media for sales and recruiting, and I ended up being LinkedIn's first certified consulting partner in North America. You ask, what does it take? Well, that experience gave me insight into both the vendor and the corporate side. I'd sit in a room with LinkedIn execs, and then I'd sit in a room with execs from Dell, Walmart, Nike, Fidelity, and then I'd sit in a room with their front line. And so I saw where the gaps were up and down that chain and what the successful companies did to close them. Getting back to your question, there were really four things. You need to understand corporate strategy, transformation, the mechanics of transformation, and talent. You need to be able to synthesize those things into a plan. You need to be able to communicate that effectively so that everybody understands what's required. And then the final thing is you need to be willing to roll up your sleeves and stay with it until the job is done.
So true. There are so many facets to doing this sort of work well, and you obviously have great experience. In your words, what do you think differentiates you from others out there who are doing the same types of work?
I've been very lucky with the breadth and depth of my experience for sure. I've seen talent from multiple angles, recruiting and performance management and talent development and analytics. And I've worked with like just about every kind of company you can imagine. So I get how these things are different for different company types and different industries. I think there's a couple other things there too. One is I've been an operator. I actually co-founded a recruitment marketing SaaS company and had a successful exit. So when I'm talking to other people about execution, I'm speaking from experience. And then my MBA, I've got concentrations in organizational behavior and finance. So I think part of the differentiator is each of those things. And I think part of it is just how they build a pretty layered foundation that helps me see what's coming next and what it's going to take to get a particular team into that future state.
Love it. I mean, especially that operator and consultant experience, I think is so valuable because when you've walked in the shoes of your client, then it makes all the difference.
When you've lost sleep and you've turned that shade of green, right? Because you don't know how you're getting through tomorrow, it does change the game quite a bit. Yeah.
And then my last question for you, you have so many skills and experiences. What do you think is the ideal sort of role for you?
One where I can bring all of those to bear at once. Right? You asked me before, what does it take to drive change? And there were four things. The right role for me is one where I get to do those things. It's probably a head of transformation or a head of strategy role. I'm also looking at consulting companies where I'd be coming in as a consultant. But it's really not a question of which of these things. It's where on that senior leadership team is there an opportunity to bring all of this to bear to drive that transformational change and have it come to life as quickly and as efficiently as possible.